You made some changes to the lineup. You moved Francisco to the top of the lineup. You moved Brandon to the 3-hole, and we've seen it remain pretty steady. What was the impetus behind those decisions, and how have you seen them pan out since you made them?
Yeah, at the time, we were struggling offensively. I just wanted to give him a different look. Lindor, obviously, when he first came up to the big leagues in Cleveland, batted lead off. I talked to him. Nimmo, he was clutch. He's got a lot of RBIs, even though as of late he's cooled off a little bit. So I just wanted to give it a different look, probably put a lefty in between Pete and JD. So it was just more of that. And look, Francisco took off, started scoring some runs. Our offense, the past 2 weeks, man, I like the at-bats top to bottom. So yeah, it's one of those where I just wanted to move some things around, and here we are.
Hey, it's Vito and Jonathan Barron from Meet at the Apple. We're here with Carlos Mendoza. We're in a different setting now. We were doing your office, now you're in our office.
Getting fancy here. I liked it.
Do you like what we've done with the place?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I like the setup.
Thank you. We're still working on it, but let's just get right to it. The last few days, it seems there's been like a really positive shift in energy. Have you noticed that? And what do you think kind of attributed to that?
I said that every time you shake hands at the end of the day, obviously the feeling is a lot better. But even going through the tough times, the vibes were really, really good. The way the guys came in, the way the guys are preparing and interacting. We just lost a few tough games that is, at times will take a toll on you. And as a team, you could feel it. But even in some of those games that we lost, and especially at the end of the game when we lost the lead, the guys came back in the 9th inning, and whether it was bases loaded, the tying run at third base, bases loaded, the winning run at third base, they kept competing, they kept fighting. And, you don't win those games, and it feels like, man, they're painful, right? But as far as the vibes, and the guys they've been great, And the past couple of days, obviously, getting the W helps. But yeah, credit to them because they continue to work, they continue to fight, they care, and they will continue to do the same thing moving forward.
And obviously, it's 26 grown men in that clubhouse who all love this game. But for you as the skipper, what do you say during some times where maybe you're falling a bit short?
You got to keep pushing. You got to keep encouraging, staying positive. Talking to the coaching staff and see what are some of the areas that we need to improve on. The attention to details and things like that. But as far as the player goes, like I said, the compete is always there. So for me, it's more like keeping the energy going, staying positive. Because again, like I said, there's been some losses that they were hard on the players, but you got to show up the next day. You got to prepare, and you got to go out there and you got to compete. And we still got ways to go, know where we at. But I like the vibes. I like credit to the group that they will continue to fight. They will continue to prepare, and that's what we're seeing.
What's it like to have a player like Francisco Lindor that will call a team meeting that you can rely on to take that leadership role?
Yeah, it means a lot, and we've seen it. I remember my first conversation with him back in the offseason, and the willingness, to help the younger players show up early in spring training to help the younger players, and then when he gets tough, he's the first one out there working. He's the first guy. He's very vocal on our meetings, and then for him to say, you know what, let's get together here. Let's talk about what do we got. Says a lot. Lindor, Nimmo, all of those guys, they've been great. Sean Manaea is also one of those that, is becoming more vocal, in that room. But to have a player like Francisco that we know how talented he is, and he didn't get off to the start that he was expecting, or we were all expecting, and he's still leading, he's still putting his best foot forward. He's still preparing. He's still, what can we do to get better? So, special player, special individual, happy to have him.
That's really funny that he mentioned Sean Manaea because we've seen him do the rally cap on the top step of the dugout late in games. So from our perspective, we see that, and it's really cool to hear you say that Sean's kind of taking on some leadership.
Would you do the rally cap with Sean one day?
Probably not.
I've never seen a manager do a rally cap.
I don't think that's a thing.
Yeah, no.
I'll let them do their thing.
You mentioned Francisco. You mentioned Brandon. About 2 weeks ago, you made some changes to the lineup. You moved Francisco to the top of the lineup. You moved Brandon to the 3-hole. And we've seen it remain pretty steady. What was the impetus behind those decisions, and how have you seen them pan out since you made them?
Yeah, at the time, we were struggling offensively. I just wanted to give him a different look. Lindor, obviously, when he first came up to the big leagues in Cleveland, batted lead off. I talked to him. Nimmo was clutch. He's still, he's got a lot of RBIs, even though as of late he's cooled off a little bit. So I just wanted to give it a different look, probably put a lefty in between Pete and JD. So it was just more of that. And look, Francisco took off, started scoring some runs. Our offense, after the past 2 weeks, man, I like the at-bats, top to bottom. So, yeah, he's one of those where I just wanted to move some things around, and, here we are.
Another guy who we've really enjoyed watching, not just because of his mustache, but because the bat, is Mark Vientos. It's been an interesting season for Mark. Doesn't make the team out of camp, comes up, has made the most of his opportunities. What sort of growth have you seen in Mark as manager from the day you met him, day one of spring training, to today as a guy who's hitting in the middle of your lineup and making a big impact?
Yeah, he's a more mature player. Went through a lot. He's been through a lot, ups, down. Comes to camp competing for a spot, gets sent down basically the last day of camp, put his heads down, goes back to AAA, continues to work. So credit to him. Comes up, gets a huge homer.
The walk-off.
Oh,
man.
Gets sent back down. It's not easy. It's not easy. Now here he is getting an opportunity, taking advantage of it. And, man, the power is real. We all seen it. When he connects, he goes a long ways.
440 feet on Saturday. Tie for the longest homer by a Met this year.
So I like where he's at defensively as well. I think he's put a lot of work on that side of the field, and we're seeing some good results. So again, credit to him. I'm a third player. He will continue to develop here, and it's good to see him getting some results.
So two of the players that got sent down this week were Christian Scott and Brett Baty. Obviously, it's a tough job for a manager when you have to have those conversations with players. But, what do you say to guys in that moment?
Yeah, look, two different conversations. Obviously, Scotty, big league pitcher, right? He came up here. You could see not only the result he was getting, but the poise, his mound presence. Even when he was not feeling at his best, his ability to continue to make pitches and give the team a chance to win a baseball game. I think it was just more, like I said the other day, where we at on the schedule, off days coming up. We didn't need a sixth starter. So he's just going to go there. And we told him, you're going to be back here. You're a big league pitcher, So he was fine. With Brett, obviously a little bit different story here. We were scheduled to face some lefties here, the playing time for him. And to be honest, we needed a backup middle infielder. Jeff needed a day. Yesterday having that ability to take Lindor on a game that we were down, giving a couple of innings off, and Iglesias earned his opportunity, So it's one of those that for Brett, he just got to go down there, continue to work offensively, just get comfortable in the box. The progress we've seen from him defensively, and there were some stretches where offensively he was doing pretty well too. So I think he's just finding that consistency. And we told him, you're going to be back here.
You mentioned Jose. Was down on the field yesterday before the game. Saw him a couple days ago. The energy that he's brought, I know he's back in the bigs for the first time since 2022. And he said it feels like he's a big leaguer all over again for the first time. He got his first Mets hit, kissed the baseball. What sort of energy has he brought to the ball club from your vantage point?
Yeah, look, he brings a lot of energy. He brings experience. He's been in so many winning teams. He's been through a lot in his career. And credit to him that after being, 10, 11 years at the big league level, he gets sent back down to the minors. And he's got to continue to work. Wasn't easy at the end of spring training telling him, hey, you're going to AAA. He didn't have to do it,
Yeah.
And he continued to say, you know what, I'm going to go down there and I'm going to give myself a chance. And here he is. And he was pretty emotional talking to Dickie Scott, our AAA manager, when he delivered the news. And he had nothing but great things to say about Iglesias, and not only the way he was playing, but the influence that he'd had on that clubhouse down in AAA and helping our young players. And then, he got here, he's in the lineup, and man, like you could see him like a player that is getting called up for the first time to the big league level. It's like, hey man, you slow it down a little bit. Everything was
hilarious.
Yeah, he was. The game was a little fast for him at the beginning. You could see it, and it's like, hey, make sure you breathe.
Yeah,
like, yeah,
so
man. Like
funny.
it's I feel like I'm playing the big leagues for the first time again. So they're humans, man. You know, guy that's got 10 years of big league experience, and he's been in the minors for the past 2. And now he's here again, and they feel it, but happy to have him, and he's going to be a big part of this group.
You want some context on how long he's been around?
How long?
He was one of the guys Jacob deGrom faced in the 2015 All-Star game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Jose Iglesias.
There you go.
Yeah.
Fun fact, not the first Met to have their own music as his walk-up song.
Jose Reyes?
Jose Reyes. Yeah. Jose Reyes also had his own music as
the
his
boys
walk-up
were
song.
loving the walk-up.
That's right.
Oh,
That's
man,
right.
this
Yeah,
is
that's
great.
pretty cool.
So yesterday was Darryl Strawberry Day. What's it like to just be a part of that? I know we spoke to you, I think, right after Doc or going into Doc, and then Darryl Day, Darryl in the dugout, talking to guys, going out there. Just what's the whole day like for you?
Special. I think it's like a dream come true for all of us here. This is one of the best players that ever wore the Mets uniform. And for us to get the opportunity to celebrate and retire his number, what he means to this organization. And I thought the Mets, we as an organization, did a hell of a job. I thought the fan base supported the whole festivities, and they were right there with him, Straw with his speech. What a great human, what a great leader, and we are very excited and proud of him because we all know what he went through, in his career, in his life, and for him to be here and get his number retired. What an honor and what a privilege. So we're proud of him, and the Mets, they hit a grand slam there.
That was the first of a few big events in the month of June. June is bookended by the Subway Series, which will be a big week for you. But in the middle of that all is London, which you guys are getting ready to. You got to stop in D.C. first, then you'll head over. How excited are you guys to go across the pond and play in front of in a different continent? I mean, it's crazy to say, but yeah.
Yeah, look, I think it's great. Major League Baseball is continuing to expand, and have this business growth. And then for us to go to London and play the Phillies, I think it's going to be such a great experience. It'll be a good show. I experienced in the past, it's going to be packed house.
That's right. You were there in 2019, right? Against the Red Sox when you were with the Yankees?
2019, and it's, 40,000 people. Feels like a soccer game. It's pretty loud, regardless of who's, doing something on the field. Like, whether you're hitting, you're on defense, it's loud. And you could feel it. So I'm really looking forward to it. We got to go take care of business in D.C. and then worry about the Phillies. But, it'll be a pretty cool experience for us.
Having the experience in London Stadium, and if my memory serves correct, those are two pretty crazy games,
yes.
Yankees, Red Sox, in terms of run scoring. What can you learn, if anything, from that experience you had and bring it to this, knowing that the stadium might provide a little bit more offense?
Yeah, I think they made some adjustments to the stadium.
Okay.
But, man, there were some crazy games. I remember the first game, we scored 5 in the first inning, and then by the end of the first, we were losing like 7-5 or something like that, So it's a pretty cool experience. Like I said, you're going to feel the energy from the fans. And I'm excited to go back.
I just realized you have a good experience with like remote games because you also did the Field of Dreams game. You were at the Field of Dreams game
right,
too.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
You're used to these crazy.
Another crazy game, by the way.
That was crazy. Yeah.
But so obviously we know that you are all business when you go on the road with the team. But you're in London. Are you gonna have any time to just like enjoy it at all?
Look, you're always going to find time to try to enjoy, but it'll go by fast,
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, you're going there to play. Those games count, So we have to be ready. We will continue with our preparation, with our routine. And hopefully we get a couple of hours that we can experience a little bit the city. But at the end of the day, we got to go there and take care of business.
Are you a big traveler in general?
Not really. I mean, we travel so much, during the regular season.
That question for you.
That when it comes down to off season, I like to be home with the kids, wife, and just chill because there's a lot of traveling that we do throughout the year.
Mentioned the National Series coming up, 3 in D.C. after you conclude this with the Diamondbacks. What are your thoughts as you look ahead to the Nats?
Yeah, they're a good team. You know, obviously playing well. They got some young talent that is now developing at the big league level. You know, we'll be ready for it. But really looking forward to the matchup too.
Well, thanks so much for joining us, Carlos. You can listen to Meet at the Apple on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We're available on the Mets YouTube page as well. And we'll see you next time. Thank you. So that was our interview with Carlos Mendoza, recorded a little bit before the game, to be just quite honest with everybody. That was recorded about like an hour, 2 hours before game 4.
Yeah, 2 hours before first pitch. And I think some things that he said to us ring true in the aftermath of the game. And, you know, we obviously, as the listeners just heard, and we know, we talked to him about the team's resiliency and sticking together and, you know, just keeping a positive, upbeat mentality through some tough times. And, you know, I didn't take it as lip service, honestly. I really felt, and, you know, things that you see and you hear, it's true. And it's important for a team to be able to do that, especially in this sport in particular. You know, in football, like, you have a full week to digest and comprehend what happened in other sports, hockey, basketball. It's a few nights. In baseball, for the most part, it's the next day.
No, they're going to DC. That's a bus, right?
I'm not sure.
It's a bus, yeah.
I'm not sure. It's
What
different.
did they say last time? Did they fly last time?
It's a bus. There's 2 buses outside.
Okay.
No, but that bus might be going to a plane.
Oh, there's like
Yeah, it could
3
be
buses.
that.
I don't think so. There's like the Greyhounds.
I'm not sure, but regardless of how they're getting to DC, the Nationals now.
I just mean, like, what I meant by that was just like you're literally getting on a bus and going to your next game.
Oh yeah,
like,
no,
it's
you're getting right back
the
to it
second
tomorrow.
They leave here and like it's basically like you're still in job mode.
Oh, 100%, yeah. And
It's hard. It's hard when you have a loss like that. Like you have to get on that bus right away, and then you have to get ready to go to the next city. And then, you know, like John said, there's not much time to regroup. There's not much time to reset.
but I think it's a good thing, honestly. I think in a way it's better to just not think too much about it. You know, they got Tyler McGill going tomorrow. He's been so good in his 2 starts since returning. Look, every day, this is the case in life, this is the case in baseball, is a new opportunity. Obviously, you want to figure out a way to get those final 3 outs of a game. Obviously, the Mets could be in a better spot if they were able to secure some of these wins that they've positioned themselves to get and close out. And that's what I continue to come back to.
I mean, they fought back in that game right away.
Yeah. Look, people have choices.
They were down 3-0 to start that game.
They were, and they took the lead.
And they took the lead and fought back. And it's you know, it's unfortunate what happened at the end.
We haven't even reached the first day of summer yet.
No.
And
Seasons are weird.
they are weird, but baseball is such a long season. I mean,
I meant the weather seasons.
Oh,
Like, isn't it weird? Like,
I'm pretty used to them.
when you think but like when you think about winter,
I
know this
doesn't even exist anymore.
But like when you think about winter, what do most people associate with winter?
The Rangers are getting ready to break my heart.
Well, just there's a holiday that most people associate winter with, correct? Christmas.
Yeah.
That's like most people associate it with.
Yeah,
Christmas is 3 days into winter.
sure, 4 days, but yeah,
Isn't that weird?
yeah.
Like that's bizarre. And then like
After the holidays are done, you have nothing but misery for like 2.5
stupid.
months till pitchers and catchers report.
I had a boss who was big on like move Christmas to February 25th.
Well, the Super Bowl is like a mini Christmas,
It is, yeah.
but that's still in the heart of winter.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, look, we've seen 7 and 17. We saw a mini version of that the next year. And the next year, the bullpen, you know, was the culprit of that. The Mets have a lot of time to turn this around. And we can either throw our hands in the air and you know, be upset, or we can just believe in the guys that are going out there every single day, whether it's trying to get better and trying to win games. You know, that's what I think the person who has a glass half full mentality does. The Mets are going to DC, who right now the Nationals are 3.5 games ahead of the Mets in this jumbled up third wild card race, which I continue to look at. I'm going to continue to look at it because, like I said, we've seen 7 and 17. The Mets are 5 back right now with like 100 left to go. That's me being a glass half full guy.
I had a fun weekend, dude. Like aside from the end of today's game, which obviously is rough, I had like a really nice weekend at the ballpark. Friday night, I had a bunch of friends come out, went to fireworks night, Jon put together a fantastic playlist.
You enjoyed it?
I really enjoyed it. My friends enjoyed it. They were very impressed at the people. Am I allowed to say the fireworks company's name?
Yeah.
They were very impressed at Starfire's skill of matching up certain types of fireworks to certain sounds. There was one firework that would go up and then go psh, and it was like a drum cymbal for We Will Rock You. And it was really cool. And then Saturday was Darryl Strawberry Day. And like, I love ceremonies, and it was so cool to be a part of it and help in any sort of way. And like today, like we interview Mendy. Like Friday, we meet the cast of Jersey Shore on Friday. Like we had such a fun weekend. And like what I'm trying to say to fans is like, you know, like just because the Mets have a tough few games, like don't let it get to you. Just like try to like think about what's positive and like what is good. And I know we sit here every week and we try to tell you what's positive, but like don't let it ruin your night. Jon right now, Jon looks sad. It's not even about the Mets.
I look sad? I don't think I look sad.
Yeah, Taylor, Jon looks like extra saddies, right?
He's looking a little bummed out for
And
sure.
it's
No, I'm not. I was so smiley this
okay.
morning. What are you guys talking
no,
about?
it's after the game. It's after the game.
Oh, this
I
morning
think
I was
the Rangers.
I was in a much better mood than you thought I'd be, right?
100%, yeah.
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 Yeah. You had
Is it
people
a
talking to
mask?
you about
Are
the
you just
Rangers though, and
masking
like,
that?
you know.
Am I what?
Was it just a mask or?
No. I think that, look, I won't talk too much about this, but it was a great run, a great ride. It's a tough trophy to win. I know that this year had a little extra meaning to me than past seasons, and that sucked. But
Sorry, Claire.
sorry, Claire. But I mean, it's already June 2nd, so like, you know, free agency is going to be here. That's going to be exciting. I'm excited to see what moves they make, and then before you know it, training camp's going to be here.
Yeah.
And for the Mets, September will be here in a blink. Also, the summer will be over that we're talking about just starting. So, yeah, I mean, you know, it is what it is. It's tough.
Yeah.
So
It was a tough weekend. Like this was not like, you know, it's tough when your team has a lead in the ninth inning and then, you know, you don't end up leaving with that fun feeling of a win.
I will say this though, 10 times out of 10,
Yeah.
I want to be the team leading going into the 7th inning, the 8th inning,
Yeah.
the 9th inning. I would rather be in that spot every single damn time.
Are there people who wouldn't?
Well, I mean, no, but there are people who just, maybe there are people who wouldn't. I don't know. But like,
I guess the Giants for that week were.
the Mets consistently do that. The Mets consistently take leads into the late innings of games.
Yeah.
Keep doing that, guys. You know, keep doing that because
The bullpen is taxed right now. Not like just like there's been injuries that this team didn't expect to deal with. You know,
Of course.
you didn't expect the Brooks Raley injury. You
Of
didn't
course.
expect that Drew Smith injury.
of course, Edwin Diaz is on the shelf right now.
You didn't expect even like somebody that we talked to at spring training that who definitely would have been a factor on this team this year. You didn't expect Nate Lavender.
Yeah, Nate Lavender probably with all the injuries, especially
Yeah.
Brooks Raley would have been up at some point. So, I mean, look,
Edwin Diaz, like all these injuries, like you don't expect all of this. And like people forget that like that's we just named what 5 people that could be part of a bullpen that are part of a bullpen. That's a gigantic tax on your team.
and today, Daniel Nunez came in, did a great job. Danny Young throwing the kitchen sink from all different angles, tough angles, did a great job. So there were some pretty good performances out of the bullpen today. Like I said,
Adam Ottavino
pitched well. Just keep taking leads into late innings, and things will straighten out. You know, I know you guys have heard players and coaches tell us and tell you that everyone's working real hard. And don't think for a second that's not the truth. That's not the case. I loved what Francisco Lindor had to say before Thursday's game about how, you know, there are literally 100 games left to go. There's so much time. And what JD Martinez said about just, I mean, this is a really, really talented roster. And, you know, we've seen so many tales over the years of teams that stumbled out of the gates and had their issues, but got it together. You know, starting pitching still been really good.
Yeah.
You know, today, JD Martinez clobbers a triple. Brandon Nimmo with a big triple.
Brandon Nimmo looked great today.
Yeah, so
And
just baseball is life.
baseball's a weird sport.
Baseball is life.
There's no sport. I say this to people who don't watch baseball all the time. Baseball's a bizarre sport because it's the only sport where you can be leading by. I'm going to use points, even though we don't use points in baseball, but just for a generalization, you could be up by 3 points, and in just half a second, you could be down. It's the only sport like that. Football's not like that. There's no situation in football where you could score 3 touchdowns on one play.
No, I know. And
There's nothing in hockey or soccer where you could score multiple. It's just baseball's a bizarre sport.
What I meant by, and when I said baseball is life, is that it's a microcosm of life. And for the most part, you have a new fresh slate and new chance every day. So the Mets going to D.C. It's a big series.
Yeah. Leading to a big trip.
A fun trip.
Against our, in our opinion,
Sure.
our biggest rival.
Obviously a very good team, but in a different environment, not at CBP, not here at Citi Field.
No.
And then
We got a manager with experience at that ballpark.
as you heard Carlos talk about, and then they come back, and it's Marlins and Padres.
Did Sevy pitch in any of those London games, I wonder?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah.
It's a good question. I don't remember. I remember Didi Gregorius. I remember the 5-run inning he was talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, new opportunities await the Mets here in the immediate future with the Nationals, the Phillies, the Marlins, and the Padres. And it's going to be a great month at Citi Field. A great June.
We've seen other teams go on these tears and like have low pointing on it. We brought up the Phillies. The year the Mets almost went wire to wire in 21, the Braves just like had an insane winning percentage.
The Nationals in 2019.
Yeah.
Started 17-31, I think it was, and they win the World Series.
Yeah, so it might not feel like it right now, but like John said, baseball's life, baseball's weird, baseball's bizarre. Like you don't know what's going to happen, and like they're not getting obliterated in these games. And it's like who were we talking to the other day that was like we're in every game? Like
was it Adam Ottavino, I think?
Maybe it was Adam Ottavino. We didn't put that interview out yet. That'll go out soon, but like it was just like the state. Oh no, JD Martinez said it to the media. JD Martinez was like, we're not getting beat up every game. Like we are in every single game. That's got to change at some point. This can't keep happening, and it won't keep happening.
That's what I'm saying. Just they continue to take leads into the later innings. The W's will start falling into their column as opposed to their opponents. So I know it's tough to hear it, and I know it's tough to visualize it and believe it because it hasn't necessarily been the case. But it's the truth. The more you play with the lead, the better your chances are of coming away with victories, and the Mets will continue to do that. And like I said, eventually the tide will turn in their favor.
Now, John, do you know why I wore this jersey today?
I do, because it is 12 years and 1 day since Johan Santana. Did I tell you the story about when I wore a Los Angeles Kings jersey to the game?
No.
Yeah, I wore a Wayne Gretzky Los Angeles Kings jersey because the Rangers had just been eliminated by the Devils like 2-3 nights before.
Was this last year?
It was 2012.
Oh, you were talking about you wore an LA Kings
Yeah,
jersey.
I was at Johan's no-hitter wearing
I knew you were at the no-hitter. I didn't realize you were a Kings jersey.
Yeah, I was wearing a Kings jersey because I was feeling spiteful because the Devils had moved on to play the Kings. So I was there wearing a Kings jersey.
That's funny. So all your pictures of you at the no-hitter, you're wearing a Kings jersey.
Yep.
You look like a random guy from LA who just happened to go to a game that night.
Yep. I was actually on TV. I think it was top 5 or bottom 5 SNY, like the camera. I was in a shot.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wore it because yesterday was the anniversary, but like it was Darryl Strawberry Day, so I felt weird wearing my Johan jersey yesterday. But I was also at the game, as John and I've talked about. And like I like to bring out one of my Johan. I have like 2. I have this, and I have the old white
pinstripe.
No, the white.
The pinstripe with the black shadow on the letters was.
I love that
was
one.
Tight.
But yeah, I'm talking about the white, just the blue.
Yeah, no, yeah,
blue piping,
with the blue, yeah,
blank white.
I have that in David. I have a David Wright white and blue piping.
Because I feel like that's like the jersey that when I think of
that also had the black shadow on the lettering, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
When I think of that, like late 2000s, early 2010s Mets, I think of that jersey. Like that's what, like when I think Wright, Beltran, that's what I think of.
Yeah.
But like I mean, that's like that's John and I both like we have stories of our own that we don't need to share again. But like that was just a special night, and like it's crazy, like just seeing that. I love this time of year when I see all my Facebook memories pop up or my like friends posting stuff from their experience there who were there.
Do you have some of your photos handy?
I do, yeah.
I have some. No, not for right now. I'll send you some of mine. Why don't you put some? Why don't you overlay some in the episode?
Yeah, we can put some up right now.
You'll see my Gretzky jersey, kissing the dugout, the visitors' dugout.
I know what I'll throw up right now. After the game, me and my friends ran out and we took a bunch of pictures by the Apple.
Oh, you've sent me those. I didn't know those were from the Johan night.
Those were from the Johan night. So
that night felt like I had seen the Mets win a World Series. And that's another example of how crazy baseball is. Like it was a crappy June 1st night. It was like 50 degrees. It was just miserable. I almost didn't go to the game. I had a schlep from Marlboro, which is not easy at all. I remember the Grand Central. I was on it for like an hour alone. And like you just show up, and in the 18,000th and I think 20th game in Mets history, what do you know? The first no-hitter ever. And it was just, I mean, what are the chances, you know?
I think about that night all the time, and I think about like the people I went with, and I was working at Chelsea Piers doing birthday parties at the time, and I remember leaving the birthday party and seeing a kid and his father who were just at the birthday party I worked, and they had their Met stuff on, and they were also going to the game. And then I remember after the game just thinking like, oh wow, like that kid and his dad had like a really nice moment tonight at the game that like we were all at. And like it's just baseball shared experiences. I mean, like, and that season was weird. That season, I tell people all the time, 2012 is one of my favorite seasons as a Mets fan. You had R.A. Dickey's 20-game wins, Cy Young. You had the Johan no-hitter. I went to Tampa. I saw what I still say is an R.A. Dickey no-hitter. It was a fun season. But let's talk about the future. And
Let's do it.
Let's do a little bit of a Future of Flushing preview. We're going to hop on later, record a fuller Future of Flushing episode. But we wanted to just give you guys one of our special editions of the 5. And this is going to be like last week, where we're going to shout out 5 players, one from each level of the Mets player dev. Why don't we start off all the way at the bottom, work our way up. The Dominican League has not started yet, so we're going to start off with the
Going bottom, I got to get to the last page.
We're going to start off with the FCL Mets, where Friday night, A.J. Ewing had 2 doubles and 2 walks.
He did. AJ, one of the high school picks by the Mets last draft, and we talked to David Stearns about philosophy. College, high school, does matter, does not matter. He said it doesn't matter. I believe him. You know, the organization wants to take guys who they feel like they can turn into the best ball players possible. The Mets went very college heavy, but many of the high school guys that the Mets did take in 2023 have had really good starts.
Yeah, and
to this first full pro season of theirs.
And
Jake Sattel is another one of them.
I'm going to actually move on to the St. Lucie Mets and talk about one of those other high school guys. Talk about Boston Barrow, another guy we spoke to when we went over there in September, and also drafted out of high school in that same draft. Friday night, had 3 hits. OPS is close to 900 since May 9th.
Boston Barrow's been really, really good.
He also got a lot bigger since the last time I saw him.
Yes, he did.
When we saw him, when we went to PSL in September, we were both like, oh, like it's crazy. Like these are high school people. And then like we saw Boston Barrow at spring training and we were like, that's an adult.
Yeah. No, he's worked hard to put on some weight, put on some muscle.
Do you think you inspired him? Because you said that him and the guys were commenting on your body.
I don't know.
You said that people were commenting on your arms when you were.
One. It was AJ who made that comment.
John was like, "I'm being bashful. I'm not going to say it was AJ."
They like Johnny Cuts muscles.
But no, Boston has been really, really impressive in his first full pro year. So, the Mets opted to not sign a couple free agents with qualifying offers 2 off seasons ago. The pick they took Boston with, they probably would have lost had they decided to make one of those moves. Obviously, you can't project what's going to happen 3, 4, 5, 6 years from now, but Boston in the mix and him doing it this young, this early, it's exciting.
100%. All right, let's move on to the Brooklyn Cyclones, where Cade Morris had 4 1/3 innings pitched today, Sunday. And Cade's a guy we also spoke to when we went there in September back down in PSL, and we're hoping to talk to possibly this week. I know I always say never pre-sell anything, but we are really, really trying to make something work so we could go do some Brooklyn Cyclones interviews this week.
You trying to hit the Cyclone with me or no?
If you want to, we can. Taylor, would you want to jump on the Cyclone?
I've ridden it once.
How'd that go for you?
I thought that was enough. I got the picture, but I'll ride it with you guys if we go.
Yeah, I mean, look, Taylor,
We'll film it.
If we go,
it's got a funnel cake.
We'll put a GoPro on it.
You could just bring the family and call it like a family day.
Yeah, I'll bring Kath and the kids. They would love that. That's their favorite place.
The thing with Cade though, made 6 starts with St. Lucie. He's made 2 starts with Brooklyn now. His ERA is under 1.5 with Brooklyn. So to see him go up the level and not have many issues, road bumps so far, that's a great sign. A college guy. So the Mets being aggressive, they felt like he had nothing left to prove at low A. You heard what David Stearns had to say when it comes to the philosophy about challenging guys and how they determine when it's time to give a guy a new challenge. And Kate has answered that challenge and then some.
Yeah. Now, over in Binghamton, we're going to talk about a guy that we met when we went to the Arizona Fall League. That's Trey McLaughlin, who lowered his ERA to 1.15 on Friday night. A lot of Friday night stuff because we did a bunch of Future of Flushing preview stuff on the episode we put out Friday, but we had already recorded. No. We recorded Future of Flushing Friday night before the game started and then put that out later. So, like, that's why we missed all of the Friday
I think it was
stuff.
Thursday.
It was Thursday?
It was Thursday. But that's okay.
Yeah.
It was Thursday.
Who knows? But that's why we're...
Hey, we just finished up a 10-game homestand. The days, they don't exist.
It's just
It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10-day homestand is
Longest of the year.
Longest of the year by one.
There is a 9-gamer coming.
But that one's a little easier because it's in the middle of a month where just like that the team is only home for 9 days.
It's an island. It's an island of home games. August, by the way.
It is, yeah, August. If you look at it on the calendar, it's so weird looking because it's just gray, blue, gray.
Yep.
But guys, like working at a ballpark, it's a 10-day homestand is a lot. Like you will see the people here working so hard, and especially to end that 10-game homestand with something as big as Darryl Strawberry weekend. Like it's a crazy time here at the ballpark.
Had a doubleheader on Tuesday.
Yeah, that like messed my whole understanding of what days were what.
Oh yeah,
Because Sunday, like,
and then you had the 4 o'clock, the midweek 4 o'clock games, which
Yeah.
is also a total brain buster.
It made me think that Tuesday was Sunday, and then I thought today was like Friday. Like I don't even know what day is what anymore. I don't know who's where, what's where, whatever. But yeah, Trey McLaughlin lowered that ERA to 1.15 for the Binghamton Mets. Trey McLaughlin, like, look, these relievers. These are the kind of players you got to keep an eye on because relievers can come up at any point.
Yeah, they're the blood life of an organization. And Trey, his bread and butter is the splitter. That's been extremely effective. He told us about how he learned it. He was taught to caress the baseball in his hand when throwing it. You remember that exact quote from Trey? And it's been extremely effective. So we'll see if and when the time comes that the Mets say, okay, we've seen enough from Trey in Double-A. He's kind of dominating the Eastern League right now. It's time to take those talents up to the Salt City and see how you can handle your next set of challenges, which, as we've said, is perhaps the biggest of the challenges from Double-A to Triple-A, the biggest jump.
Something we got to talk to David Stearns about. Dude, we got to talk to David Stearns on Friday, like on a really busy day. Like we had a nice weekend, you know?
No, we did. We did.
We met Vinny.
We met Vinny.
In this situation.
Well, that's what I was much more excited for.
You can't say that.
I can say that.
You can't.
Yes, dude. I told him I'm from Marlboro, and we hit it off immediately. Of course, I can say that.
You can qualify it with saying that. That's fair because you're both from Marlboro.
Yeah, I worked at a pizzeria for like 5 years that he knows very well. I used to see him at the mall all the time.
I heard that you brought a place up to him. He had no idea what you were talking about.
No, he knew what I was talking about.
Taylor told me that you brought something.
He didn't seem too familiar with that pizza place when you shouted it out.
He knew the pizza place.
That's not what Taylor told me right after.
Debatable, but I'm gonna stay out of it.
All right,
he knew it. He knew Marlboro. He knew Marlboro well.
Yeah, he knew your town. He did not know that pizza place.
And we're gonna drop that Vinny interview later this week or maybe next week because I might be able to get some extra footage from the people from the camera crew he was with. So if I can get that, it'll make it a little better. If I can't, then we're just gonna put it out the way it is. And it's a really fun time where if you like Jersey Shore. We basically we had Vinny rank his favorite Jersey Shore moments based on what I gave him. But
you know how close I was? I was debating in my mind because I've never watched the show, and my wife has begged me to watch the show for years.
Yeah,
and I just have like been like, no, there's like, you know, I can go watch like an AHL game, like a minor league hockey game. I'm gonna go do that instead. Like I'll do anything to not watch.
Is it just because you didn't like the representation that your area got? I know John doesn't watch anything besides sports, but
that's pretty much all there is to it. A little bit of the representation also.
Was that annoying when you were younger and that was popping up?
Yeah,
Like,
especially when I was
Jersey
like,
Shore, like GTL,
when I wasn't
bro.
living in the tri-state area, when I was living in like Indiana or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'd say like, or someone would say where you're from, and I say New Jersey. Like first thing out of everyone's mouth, 10 times out of 10,
the Jersey Shore
was that.
Yeah.
You know, Jersey John is what they'd call me.
Oh,
dude.
I mean, I brought it upon myself. I had the ears pierced. You know what it is.
Did you gel your hair?
Heck yeah.
It was crazy.
Respect.
Would you say I've never seen the players as excited for any first pitch other than Jersey Shore?
Those guys, they were like jumping over the rail.
Tyler McGill jumped over the rail to go meet them.
Well, I guess Tyler watches it with his wife or a girlfriend or whatever.
Tyrone Taylor sprinted over right before first pitch.
They were pumped.
Sean Manaea was like standing on the edge of the dugout. So I talked to Tyrone about it today before the game. I was like, "You were pretty excited about Jersey Shore." He was like, "Dude, were you not?" Like I was like, "Of course I was," but like the guys were really pumped up.
Do you think if I told Vinny I never watched, like he would have been like, "Oh"?
No, I don't think people like. It's not like. It's
because I was going to, but then I just didn't.
I mean, here's the thing. You never want to say to somebody, I've never watched the thing you're from, but like it's a reality show, so it's not like something that he's like, I worked so hard. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's not like, I worked so hard on that show.
I guess. I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah. All right, let's finish up the 5 prospects you got to keep an eye on. Dom Hamill, who in 5 innings only gave up 2 runs.
Nice bounce back effort for Dom. Nice bounce back effort. When Dom Hamill has control of the strike zone, he is arguably the most dominant pitcher in the player development system. He really took off around this time, maybe a little bit later last year in Binghamton, and he rode that wave all the way into the postseason when he outdueled Richard Fitz, formerly of the Yankee organization, now of the Red Sox organization. He was in the Alex Verdugo deal. He was obviously there. Dom was in Double-A with Christian Scott and eventually Tyler Stewart and Blade Tidwell later in the season. So I look for Dom to have a similar midseason surge, and we'll see where it puts him because he started the year in Triple-A. So, you know, if he can continue to put up zeros and throw strikes and miss bats and generate swords. You know what swords are? Are you into swords?
I do know what sword is. That is when you have a swinging strikeout and you just extend in a way that looks like you're swinging a sword.
Yeah, it's like a swing without really making an effort to make contact with the ball. You know who's one of the league leaders in swords generated amongst pitchers?
Who?
Luis Severino.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Swords are sick.
Yeah. No, it's a cool stat.
I know Pitching Ninja's big into swords.
Swords are fun. And it's cool that it's not really quantifiable. I mean, I guess you could probably do like you missed the ball by X amount of inches, so it's a sword, but I like that StatCast is tracking that along with bat speed.
Yeah.
How about Mark Vientos' home run on Saturday, by the way?
Rocket.
I know we talked about it with Mendy a little bit, but
yeah,
dude, Vientos' OPS right around 1,000. He's arrived, man. That bat is here and it's here to stay. I'm telling you.
Look, when he's
up, good.
I know it didn't. He ended up popping out at the end of the game, but like when he got up there, he's the kind of guy now. When he goes up, I do feel good.
Had a great weekend against Arizona. I mean, when we were in spring training, I asked him off camera, do you know he hit 7 home runs? I think it was like August 30th through the end of the year. And 6 of them were against very, very formidable pitchers. And I asked him if he knew who they were against, and he knew most of them. We're talking like Ranger Suarez. We're talking Aroldis Chapman. He had 100.4 other way.
Yeah.
We're talking Luis Castillo of the Mariners. We're talking Zach Gallen, who's one of the best pitchers of the National League last year of the Diamondbacks. Like, you know, I think a lot of people still look at September baseball and say, oh, well, you know, rosters expand, so you can't really take it seriously. That's not the case anymore. No. Rosters expand by what, 2 spots now? It's not 40-man rosters with just like, you know, the minor league season ends and you just empty what you have down there and you just bring it up. No, that's not the case anymore. Like, he had a really, really strong end to the season, and he's continuing to prove that he is a formidable major league bat and a force in a lineup. And I can't wait to see him continue to mash.
Yeah, dude. Like I said, when he went up today, I was like, come on, Mark. I went up and I was like, I feel good about this. Like,
hitting rockets all over the place.
Yeah. And it's the kind of guy that, like, that's what you want to feel like. When you're watching a game, you just want to feel like the person who's up to bat right now is somebody that can do something. And I did feel like that when he went up. And look, it can't happen every time, but like, it means something. So,
and he's looked good with the glove also. I know Mendy said that too. I'm not trying to repeat what he said, but you know, just talking about some of the guys, I don't even know how that came up, but he's looked really good with the glove, comfortable at third base, both receiving and throwing. He's looked comfortable. He's looked good. So Mets fans should be excited about what they have in Mark Vientos. I'm not kidding. Mark Vientos is the real deal.
All right, now the 5 things that I just want to talk about before we get out of here. 1, we have a really cool New Balance collaboration that is available on Fridays. You have a chance to catch it out by the DJ booth.
Got the shirt right here.
Shirt's fire, by the way. I filmed with
very cool.
Filmed the piece with the artist, Vito and Lindor and stuff.
Could you tell us anything about it?
Oh yeah, the artist is from Mexico, and he's a young man who moved here, and he designed this this specific artwork for this New Balance collaboration, and it's just really dope, man. It's just like the Mets supporting artists and New Balance as well.
And you can catch the Queens crew, right, in the first inning, giving away these shirts out by the DJ booth.
Yeah, Queens crew.
Also got to shout out DJ Mick so hard. DJ Mick was great.
I mean, DJ Mick is the real deal. He DJs like Beyonce's birthday and stuff like that.
Really?
Like, yeah, he's no slouch.
Yeah, he was really good. We've had, I mean, just a great 1-2 off the bat with Sage and DJ Mick.
Yeah, holler Sage. That's family.
I think DJ Lomo is next up on the.
Love me some Lomo too. He's gonna
big Met fan too.
Yeah, he's gonna fly up from Charlotte.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Big Met fan. So that's.
Should we have him on?
Maybe.
Yeah, that would be cool. So
how about we get DJ Pauly D out here?
I would love to get DJ Pauly D out here. I don't know how many Mets games he's watched, but I would love to talk to him. But yeah, so this the shirt, you have the chance to grab one of these Friday nights when you come to DJ night, presented by New Balance, and you just go out by the DJ booth, and the Queens crew tosses these bad boys out. They are really cool. They even got the Mets patch with the Mets logo on the patch sleeve here, the patch spot.
What's the patch spot?
The patch
the
spot.
Old patch spot.
The patch spot. That is where a patch would go.
It's a spot for a patch.
Next thing, London next weekend. It's gonna be fun. It's a fun thing to watch. You got the games on in the early afternoon.
Yeah, what time are they? I think Sunday's a morning game.
Sunday's a morning game. I remember last year was a morning game, and then I think Saturday's like an early afternoon.
Sunday
game.
Is a 10:10 Eastern time start.
I love that.
Who's doing the broadcast? Where are you going watching that?
Saturday is on Fox, and that's a 1 Eastern time start, and then Sunday is on ESPN.
I love that because. Well, dude, we could get the podcast done like at a nice time.
I thought that's why you were saying you love that so much.
No, I love it because like I can wake up and like just watch the game and then like have my whole day.
But the Mets are not playing on Friday, which is so weird. I hate that.
Yeah,
they're not playing on Friday. That's very bizarre.
It is bizarre. I mean, it's like it's the weirdness of like when a series is 4 games starting on a Friday and then like the Monday
goes
they have,
to Monday
and
wraps around.
That's always bizarre. But so just like I've been looking forward to the London game since it got announced last year. It's going to be really cool. It's always fun to watch these specialty games. Hope to see more of them for the Mets. Another thing happening in the next month of June is Hawaiian Shirt Saturday, the 15th, which is going to be sick because I remember the last Hawaiian Shirt Day. I felt like every single person in the stadium had a Hawaiian shirt on. That thing was so cool.
August 2019 against the Nationals?
Yeah.
The orange ones?
The orange ones, yeah. The last one they did.
Yep.
Because they had one for 2020.
Oh.
But, that season didn't happen.
Never to be seen.
And I've always wondered what happened to those shirts.
I think you know the people that you can ask.
That's a good point. I'm going to ask them because I've wondered this for years. Like, what happens to items in a season like that?
Hopefully, I mean, that's one of a kind.
Yeah. But Hawaiian shirt, and it's a very nice Hawaiian shirt. I would say it's better than that.
What? Couldn't get our hands on one for the show today?
They were not in today.
They
were not in today, so
next week.
They told me they would give it to me next week.
Do some modeling.
Another thing, I'm going to put this picture up here. This is me and John with Darryl Strawberry. We're both wearing Darryl Strawberry shirts that are available at the team store. Darryl Strawberry weekend just passed. If you're still
if you're still what?
If you're still hyped up on Darryl Strawberry weekend, go to the team store.
Still what?
And go grab yourself.
A long 10 days.
It's a long 10 days, and I still got to edit this episode, so who knows if that makes it in or not. I don't know. And the 5th thing on the list of 5 things to do while the Mets are away this week or when the Mets come back, or 5 things to do in June. That's what this 5 is. 5 things to do in June. The 5th thing, take a deep breath.
And maybe go to the zoo. I've been kind of wanting to go to the zoo recently.
You should. You know what? I'm not going to say you shouldn't go to the zoo, but October is a sick time to go to the Bronx Zoo because they let the peacocks.
I'm not going to the Bronx in October, Vito. Think about what you just said.
The Bronx Zoo in a certain month is fun because
why?
They let the peacocks roam around the zoo like freely. So you're walking around and a peacock just comes up behind you.
What's the best zoo to go to right now?
The Bronx Zoo.
Here, is it?
It's the Bronx Zoo.
Is it the only option? Really?
No, there's a zoo. There's a Queen Zoo right here across the street.
Oh, okay.
There's a Central Park
pretty
Zoo.
Good.
Philadelphia's got a pretty fire zoo.
San Diego's got a very good zoo.
Too big.
Too big?
Too big.
San Diego's. Wait till you go to the Bronx Zoo.
This
Bronx
is bigger than San Diego?
No, but it's
no.
massive.
It's huge. There's a tram tour.
But I've been to San Diego
Just
Zoo.
drop a pin when you park your car because you might lose that thing.
Now I'm rethinking the zoo.
Bronx Zoo, Central Park Zoo, Queens Zoo. I don't think Staten Island has a zoo.
Prospect Park just reopened its zoo.
Prospect Park is a zoo?
I never went to Prospect Park when I lived there.
My wife took the kids last week. She said it was I
never made it over there. I knew there was a zoo. The thing was, I was so far from it. Like what?
It's on the Flatbush
it's
side.
Like 3 miles, not 3 miles. It's very far to the entry point. Then you got to walk like all the way into the middle of the park. And then by the time you've done that,
not ready for the Bronx Zoo either.
But I could at least drive to the Bronx Zoo.
Facts.
So, yeah, we want to take Sophia to the zoo for her birthday.
Oh, nice. Are you gonna have like a party or just go?
We're gonna have a party, but then we're gonna go on an outing also to the zoo.
Nice.
So, yeah, I remember the Philadelphia Zoo when I was a kid. My parents took me. You like press the button and the display would talk and tell you what was good with all the animals.
What about the Central Park Zoo? It's a good baby zoo because it's so walkable.
That's what I need. I don't need some massive day out.
Yeah, the Central Park Zoo is like really walkable, and there's like there's nothing crazy.
Yeah,
it's pretty chill.
Maybe I'll rip Sesame Place.
Nice. I went to Sesame.
Have you been there?
No, but that in Philly, right?
No, it's in Pennsylvania.
I think it's Philly.
I don't think it's Philly.
No?
It's in like I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not gonna. People from Philly claim a lot of random borders. There's people in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, who say they're from Philly. So.
Zach Becker.
Is he one of those people?
Heck yeah. No, I don't know. Not really, but he's from Cherry Hill.
Yeah. All right, guys. Look, like I said, the fifth thing, take a deep breath. It's a long season. Many games to go. There's still a lot of time. There's still a lot of Mets baseball to go to watch on TV. There's still time. So just take a deep breath after a loss like this. I know it's tough. I know you're upset. It's going to be okay.
There are children right now running around the bases at Citi Field.
For the Mr. and Mrs. Met
for the post game dash, having the time of their lives, taking it all in, and falling in love with this sport. And I encourage everyone before Monday night's game, because we all know, I think it's a 6:45 first pitch. You're gonna park your tuchus on the couch around 6:30. You're gonna join Gary, Keith, and Ron. Although I don't know if Keith and Ron will both be there, but Howie, Keith, Rad, whoever it might be. And you're gonna get ready for more Mets baseball, and you're gonna love it. And just remember why you fell in love with this team and this sport and all the great things about it and the companionship it offers, because every single night it's there for you. No matter how good or bad of a day you had, you sit down and the ball game is there for you. And times are only going to get better from here moving forward.
You're on Twitter. You're watching it with people you don't know, from people you only know online. And then in moments like this, in rough losses, just remember how much worse you feel middle of November when there's no baseball to look forward to.
Nothing worse than that.
And you're just like, oh, I can't wait for baseball season to come back.
Yep.
You're just counting the games back, the days back to spring training.
Yep.
Take a deep breath. Enjoy the season. Enjoy every game while it's here, because that's what summer's about. And, you only get so many summers in your life. You only get so many baseball seasons in your life. Just enjoy every one for what it is.
It's true. It's really true. And so, yeah, appreciate the baseball. These are close, exciting games the Mets are playing.
Yeah.
And like we said, those tough losses are going to soon turn into W's, and there's still time for a really good summer here in Queens.
So you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Vito F. Khaleesi. John is at JMB9191.
I had my feet up this whole time. Is that rude?
No, you're following your buddy, Mike. You're in the Mike Francesa spot. You're doing the Mike feet up thing. That's pretty cool, I think. Check out our interview with David Stearns that went out on Friday. For us, that was a really cool opportunity we got. We really appreciate all those moments we have. You could go check out our interview with Mark Vientos we did last week. That's a part of that Paulo Costa episode. But, leave us some comments. You could tweet us. Tell us what you want to hear more of. We got 9 days till the next homestand. Are there any players that you want us to talk to? If they are, leave those in the comments right now, because we'll listen to you if you want us to talk to somebody. And just keep your head up, take a deep breath, and we'll meet you all next time at the Apple.
See you guys later. Let's go Mets.